Let's rock out some retro with What Happened on My Universe Mode! Oh yeah, we got the old school wrestlers in tow for some Nitro. Tuesday Nitro, not Monday Nitro, Tuesday Nitro. We were in Paris, France as Nitro started a European tour. And we open the show with a huge contest between former partners, the Ultimate Warrior and Sting. The Blade Runners collide. Sting took the early advantage in this one with a sidewalk slam and an inverted atomic drop. He tried to make the Warrior tap out earlier, but the Ultimate Warrior wriggled out and hit him with a clothesline. Following that, with a stalling suplex. The Warrior followed that with two different types of slam, gorilla press and huge power, but after that Sting was able to reverse a punch and get the advantage for himself, and he did something good with that advantage. He hit a massive tombstone and followed that up with the Scorpion Death Drop. He went for the pin. Hashtag press Y for resiliency. The Ultimate Warrior kicked out and then reversed with an arm wringer into a shoulder block. The Ultimate Warrior pounded on his former partner until he went down, then threw him into the corner, smashed him with a clothesline and then dropped him with a super back suplex. With Sting down, the Ultimate Warrior nailed him with the splash to the back, and the Ultimate Warrior was victorious against the former Blade Runner comrade. After the match he celebrated and then decided to beat up Sting a bit more, stomping on him until the referee would pull him away. Following that beatdown, it was time for another match, and it saw the return of Larry Zbyszko, but he had a challenge on his hands as the living legend was taking on the Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle started this match like a man possessed, hitting a Tazplex of all things, and then grabbing that leg and locking it in a leg lock, trying to get the early submission. He didn't though. Zbyszko kicked him away, but that didn't stop Kurt Angle. The Olympic hero started working on the leg a bit more of Zbyszko, trying to get a tap out maybe a little later on. Before that though, he had to hit one of his picture perfect moonsaults and a dirty looking powerbomb before he eventually locked in the ankle lock, and Zbyszko, while holding on for a while, did eventually have to tap out, and Kurt Angle managed to get a great win over a living legend. Our next contest saw Jake the Snake Roberts make an appearance with Damien in tow. He was facing off against Andre the Giant, who only a few days earlier had defeated Goldberg at the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view, but Goldberg wasn't going to let him forget it, and he attacked him prior to the match, throwing him into the steps before throwing him into the ring. Andre was of course still able to have the match, but quickly got caught by a clothesline by Jake, and then an elbow before getting a knee to the gut. Despite all this, Andre was able to grab Jake's leg because he's a double-R bastard. He threw Jake against the ropes and kicked him in the chest and then threw him down with a choke toss. Unfortunately for the Giant, Jake caught his next move with a short-arm clothesline and then nailed him with the DDT, the original DDT. Andre wasn't able to kick out, and Jake the Snake celebrated after the match with the snake. We took a break from the action now as number one contender for the European title, Bret Hitman Hart, had something to say. After getting a cheap pop from the crowd, he said that what he'd gotten so far isn't enough and that he wanted more. He claimed that he'd gotten someone's bad side, possibly the European champion, and he was going to show you why good things come to those who work hard. He finished it off by saying all he wanted was a match at the pay-per-view, and he's probably got one thanks to his win at Great Balls of Fire. Tag team action now, and we were revisiting some classic action as the Von Erichs, Kevin and Kerry, who were defeated by the tag team champions at Great Balls of Fire, were facing off against Jimmy Garvin and Michael Hayes, the fabulous Freebirds. The match began with Michael Hayes hitting a judo throw on Kerry Von Erich and then quickly tagging into Jimmy Garvin for some double teamness. A back suplex followed that, and then a crossbody off the second rope. Garvin then locked in a camel clutch on Kerry Von Erich, but he wasn't able to tap out. In fact, Von Erich was able to reverse and get the advantage. He didn't use the advantage too wisely though, as after a Russian leg sweep, his Irish whip was reversed and he got caught with a spinny suplex thing. More double teamness followed and Michael Hayes came in. He tried to slam the Texas Tornado, but it got reversed. Kerry Von Erich was then able to tag in his brother. We got some double teamness and then an airplane spin of all things. Not seen one of them in a while. Both members of the Freebirds then got to eat some barefoot drop kicks before Kevin Von Erich hit Jimmy Garvin with a weird back suplex like X-Pac used to do. Kevin Von Erich hit Jimmy Garvin with the old monkey flip cross-body combo. He tagged into his brother. We got some double teamness with a back body drop, and then Kerry Von Erich finished it off with a discus punch. The Von Erichs victorious and probably first in line for a tag team title shot. Maybe a bit of revenge from last time. The Nitro main event was next, and we saw Y2J Chris Jericho, and he was taking on the man he was supposed to face off against at Great Balls of Fire, The Rock. And Jericho could not wait. As soon as the bell rang, he ran at The Rock and beat him down until he was a mess in the corner. And after this savage start to the match, Chris Jericho continued the beating with a jump over the top rope to hit a leg drop and then a jump off the second rope to hit a senton. The Rock gained the advantage though with a fireman's carry. Whilst in control, The Rock hit a short arm clothesline and a backbreaker and then an old school left the SmackDown DDT, but he missed a forearm after that, and Chris Jericho took advantage of that, throwing him into the corner and laying him down with snake eyes. Y2J quickly clamped on the walls of Jericho, but The Rock did not tap out. He did not submit. Instead, he rolled Jericho out, but as he got up, he quickly got caught with the codebreaker. Luckily for The Rock, hashtag press Y for resiliency. Jericho was frustrated and kneed The Rock in the head and slapped him. That may have pissed off The Rock, who pushed Jericho away and hit a sudden rock bottom, but Jericho was not going to be down for the count. He was able to kick out at 2. A desperate Rock took Jericho to the top rope and hit a Samoan drop, but that wasn't enough. Jericho reversed the next move, hit a backbreaker and then a cracking little lion salt. And once The Rock got back up, it was time for another codebreaker. And this time Jericho was able to get the pinfall. There was no hashtag press Y for resiliency. That's it for this edition of What Happened on My Universe Mode. NXT next. Like and subscribe.